Hi, today I'm going to talk about the different standards of face mask. There are many standards in the market. Sometimes you come across masks which are marked as ASTM tested, some are marked as EN tested, and some do not have any mark at all. So what do they mean? Are you getting and wearing a mask that are certified to some standards? Are you actually getting masks which provide you the intended protection? Let's find out today. Mask, some people call it 3-ply mask or surgical face mask or face mask in short. You come across different names like that. So are they the same? How do you choose the correct mask for your intended use? Since COVID-19, there are so many sellers, so many types of masks in the market, and it is really confusing when you want to buy the correct mask. You might have come across masks which are marked as medical masks or non-medical masks. And in recent few months, I believe you have come across masks which are marked as civilian masks. What exactly is civilian mask? Okay, civilian mask, which some people call it in Chinese, the Mingyong mask, are they the same as medical mask? Let's find out. The most important material inside a 3-ply face mask is the middle layer, which we call the melt-blown PP. Melt-blown PP is the filter which allows the mask to filter bacteria and particles. I believe you have seen many videos posted in the internet, including Facebook, that teach you how to test whether the melt-blown is genuine or not. People cut up the mask, and they take out the middle layer and they torch it. And when they see the melt-blown cannot be torched, then they claim that it is genuine melt-blown. Well, no doubt that this is one of the ways to test whether the inner material is melt-blown or not, but it does not give you any indication about its filtration capability. So how do you know whether the melt-blown that is being used in your mask is providing you the protection? How many percentage of filtration can it actually provide? The safest way is to make sure that the mask that you are buying is tested to international standards. When I say international standards, that include ASTM, which is the American standards. If you see the mask being marked as ASTM F2100-11, that means the mask has been tested to the American ASTM standards. When it comes to ASTM standards, there is level 1, level 2, and level 3, each with different criteria. And there is also another very popular standards, which is the European standards. And you will see the mask being marked as tested and complied to EN 14683. So when you see mask which is tested to EN 14683, that means it is tested to European standards. And European standards is widely recognized throughout the world. So when it comes to European standards, the EN 14683, they have type 1, type 2, and type 2R. Similar to ASTM level 1, 2, and 3, Chinese standard, which you might see YYT0969 or YY0469. So these two Chinese standards refers to two different things, but both are referring to masks for medical use. The YYT0969 refers to one-time use medical face mask, whereas the YY0469 refers to the surgical face mask, which have higher requirement in terms of the blood splash resistance and some other criteria. You might be asking, the mask that you are getting is marked as civilian mask, and it is stated as non-medical use. But when you ask your supplier, what is their explanation? They might tell you that it is the same as medical mask, just that it is not sterilized. They might tell you that it is similar to medical mask, but then it has slightly lower filtration. The truth is, when good quality raw material is used, including high filtration melt-blown, there's no reason why a mask cannot pass international standards and be marketed as medical mask. So when a mask is marked as non-medical mask, it means that the melt-blown used does not provide you at least 95% of bacterial filtration efficiency. Why is that? Because 95% BFE or above is the mandatory requirement no matter which standards you are referring to, whether it is ASTM standards, the European EN standards, or the Chinese YYT or YY standards, they all require BFE of at least 95% and above. So when a melt blown used in a 3-ply face mask does not give you at least 95% BFE, they have no choice but to mark it as non-medical use. So this is one of the main reasons for non-medical mask. Then you might also say your mask is also tested and has test report, even though it is marked as civilian use mask or non-medical mask. Check again. If you look thoroughly in your test report, in the test report that your supplier provided, you might not be able to see any wording, any clause that says anything about ASTM or the EN 14683 or the Chinese YYT 0969 standards. Rather, you might see some strange standards being stated in the test report with some self-defined criteria, and if you try to Google it, you might not be able to find any information at all. Apparently, in certain countries, they allow the manufacturer to define their own standards, and certain smaller laboratories, they perform the test according to the standards defined by the manufacturer. So when you are talking about test report tested to self-defined standards, be careful about that, because that can be very tricky. They can set the passing rate at very low. For example, they can set that as long as the filtration pass at least 80%, then it is considered pass. So check your test report thoroughly to make sure that the standards that's being used in the test report is international standards, as I explained it just now. You might have come across suppliers that says their mask is tested to CE, and if you request CE certificate from them, they can actually give it to you. But if you examine this type of certificate closely, you will find that it is just a declaration of conformity, and it means nothing. There is no test report. If you request further test report, I don't think you will get any. It's very important that when you buy 3-ply face masks, please buy from reliable and reputable vendor. This is the way to make sure that the mask that you are getting is of high quality, and there is also an after-sales service that you can expect from this reliable vendor. Please remember to request test report which is tested in accordance to international standards, including ASTM, EN, or the Chinese YYT standards. It's important because you deserve the best. When you are buying face masks to protect your loved one, to protect yourself, or to protect your employees, you want to provide them the best possible protection. So if you can buy face masks with BFE of 99% and above, why settle for less? Why go for 90% or 92%?